nailed the exposure there. That's mad.
Well done, mate.
Thank you. Wait, just gotta get that
Glad
sorted.
we could get this sorted before we went live.
That's all right, because you left us so much time to get all this sorted.
Oh, you weren't in there. You weren't in there already, were you?
Well, I just wanted to make sure that we were going to actually start the show on time, ladies and gentlemen. Peek behind the fourth wall.
You did.
Terry got in the waiting room approximately 45 seconds ago.
45 seconds ago.
So we run a tight knit ship over here.
We do. My bad. I should have been more prudent. Hey, guess what?
What?
We are here for reflections. Round 10. Carlton, Sydney. Are you ready?
Pumped. Yeah.
How are you feeling about the game?
It's going to be a big test. It's going to be a big test. Probably our biggest test so far this season. So, you don't want to. The more jeopardy these games have means the more the result matters to both teams in a sense, which means that you're up there in the upper echelons. It means that you're doing something right. If games like these have weight. So, pumped, excited. I'm not going, which is a bit frustrating. And I've just got a Twitter notification. I don't want to break the news to you all and break the news to you as well. But Jack Martin has suffered a calf strain and won't make the trip up to Sydney.
No way.
That is factual. Well, as factual as Riley Beveridge is, and he's a very reliable journalist. So.
Another injury for the Blues. Jack Martin has a calf strain and won't make the trip to Sydney for Friday night's clash against the Swans.
Yeah, that's goodness gracious me. That's not good at all, is it? That's yeah. I'm not normally an advocate for the sound effects, but I think it's apt at this time.
You're kidding me, man! Like another one. Anyway, whatever.
That's unreal timing, by the way. Thanks, Riley, for bringing that to our attentions just as we start recording.
It's out of our control. Just got to move forward. Squad mentality. Next man up.
Next man up.
Ashton so Moyer. Annoying. It's so annoying, man. Seriously, it's so annoying.
Ashton Moyer? Is that where we're going with?
I guess. Yeah. I mean,
throw in the deep end, sink or swim type shit.
Oh, really? Like, fuck, man.
Yeah, that's that timing is comical. It's real David Brent office sort of timing, isn't it? The comedic timing couldn't be better. Didn't he just come back from a calf? Was it a calf that he?
It was a knee that became a hemi, maybe. Kobe.
Sorry, welcome. Bro. Yeah, sorry. It's not my fault. They shoot the messenger, guys. Don't. Yeah. Oh, goodness gracious.
Robbie, thanks so much for the $15, mate. Very kind. Look. Sucks. I don't like the fact that the reaction to this is live. Usually I have a little bit of a sook to myself, get angry, get upset, get more angry, and then realize it's out of my control. Got to get over it. Got to move on. And there's, whatever.
Yeah, but this is adaptability.
No, it's bullshit, Ari. That's what it is, Ari.
You got to adapt. We have to adapt. You have to adapt. I have to adapt on the fly doing the show. It's gone against the run sheet, which doesn't exist. But if it did exist, it would go against it. It's gone against the club has to adapt. I'm sure this wasn't part of their plans. Come on, adaptability. It's a good trait.
No, you're right. You're right. You're right.
Come on, we have to
start manning up, get some competitive juices in you, and get the fuck on with it. You're right. You're absolutely right. All right, we're gonna move on.
What were we saying?
There's only one thing that can really brighten the moment, Harp.
Pretty sure that Judd goal. Yeah, okay, all that. Sure. I mean, the Judd goal against Geelong would have been nice if you still got it on file.
Yeah. Well, we've got a show to do, so we're going to
We
do
do.
it. Ladies and gents, this is Reflections. What we do in Reflections is Ari and I go through a memory against the Swans each, recount it, recall it, and then we look at your memories. Random, we're looking for moments, we're looking for things that you were doing on the day, driving home, flat tire on the way, like the randomest games possible, random moments, and we're just going to reflect a little bit on our favorite, our best and worst moments against the Sydney Swans. Ari, hello.
I feel like that news is really kind of thrown.
We're rattled.
We are. I feel like I'm okay. I feel like you're rattled. We need like a hard stop.
It's
We
you know
need
what,
a-
like I try my best to just stay happy, stay practical. You know how many times can one get punched before they react?
Yeah, no, it's another kick to the guts, isn't it? But look,
It's
we'll be
fine. It's actually
We'll be
fine.
Yeah, we need a hard. We need like a hard, like on the show. We need a hard kind of reset.
Yep. So now, I think I went first last week.
What was last week? Geelong? No, it wasn't.
Geelong.
No, it wasn't.
No, last week it was Melbourne,
Melbourne.
and I think I went first
Yeah,
because
she did.
I did. So do you want to
'Cause-
kick us off, mate?
Because I was unprepared. This week, I am prepared.
No way.
I am prepared. I did a run sheet.
Look at this, ladies and gents. Look at this.
This is.
I'm excited.
Thank you.
All right. What have you got?
All right. So Sydney. I'm sure when everyone first thinks of games that Carlton have played against Sydney, I'm sure we all go straight to round 17, 2014, right? Everyone? No? Well, that's good. That's the exact answer I want, because now I'm going to tell you about this game. So this happens on the 12th of July, 2014 at the SCG, round 17, Saturday night, 34,965 people in attendance. Now, pretty niche game. However, the reason why I've chosen to pick this game is because this was the first ever interstate game that I attended.
Really?
Yes.
How old were you?
10.
10-year-old Ari. Wow.
10-year-old Ari.
Love it.
Same haircut. No. What? Come on, that drive-by is just unnecessary.
No drive by. You had the same haircut. You had the
Nothing.
short sides and back, and you had the little bit short, like longer on top.
Yeah, not really, but sure.
No?
You want me to? So you've thrown me now.
Sorry, my bad. I shouldn't have
Some interesting facts personally from this. So obviously we went up for this game. Same facial hair. I'm betting John Holland in the chat. No, surprisingly not. Although I appreciate the kind of the confidence in my ability to do a facial hair at 10 years old. Anyways, so obviously when you go up, the club do open trainings through for probably most, if not all, interstate games. So we went there. Yeah, that's absolutely not happening. It's not even a Carlton premiership can make that happen. So yeah, obviously they did open trainings before the game on the Friday. I remember going to that, getting some photos with a couple of players, Jamison, Henderson, got a photo with David Allard, and then came across one Mr. Michael Malthouse, right? And I've told this story publicly as well. So for those who've heard it, you've heard it. I asked for a photo, but because 10-year-old Ari, a little bit flustered with the whole situation, seeing like my heroes at the time, I don't apparently and quite clearly, evidently so, I didn't say the word please. I just asked. I said, "Can I have a photo?" Right?
I can imagine it. Little entitled Ari, just
Well, entitled or flustered. I would like to give myself the benefit of the doubt.
I would say you were flustered too at 10 years old.
Yeah. So Mick Malthouse, notorious nice bloke, turned around to me and said, basically in front of everyone, because it was a small intimate session, not many people were going. Are you gonna say please? In front of it, it just turned to me and was like, "Are you going to say please?" And I remember not really knowing what to do and was not really prepared for that response. Kind of froze, and I think the story goes he ended up walking away and then coming back and taking the photo with me like 5 minutes after that. So I don't know if that was a little bit of tough love from Mick, or he was just being a bit of a prick. But there's just another interesting story from this kind of game.
Wow, that's a fascinating story.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, very, very. I've got the photo still, so I reference it.
Should have uploaded it.
It was on my Instagram for a while, and it is now being archived swiftly because
Hmm.
now I
Well, so
yeah.
you got an absolute, you got a bit of a spray from Mick Malthouse personally.
Yeah, at 10 years old. At 10 years old. So
Do you now use the word please because of that? Does it stick with you?
no, that's not really what I take from the story. I take from the story that I think it speaks more about him than me at that situation.
Do you
Maybe.
think he was right at all?
Maybe, probably. But also it's quite funny.
I mean, you're 10 years old. There's a
Yeah, I
way
know.
to say something. Yeah, I
And
mean,
also, just want to clarify, I was 10 years old, but I looked 5 at best.
yeah.
Like I didn't have the facial hair at that stage to compensate for the lack of maturity in my face. So I did look 5, but there you go. There's an interesting story from there.
Wow.
Yes. Anyways, so onto the game itself. So this is Saturday night. Sydney go into this game top of the ladder, 1 game clear, flying. Would obviously make the grand final. In the subsequent weeks, obviously won the grand final 2 years prior to that. Made a prelim the year before. They were on top of the world at that stage. Goods, Bud, Parker, flying superstar team. We were going into that game 13th on the ladder, season basically done. That was the after the elimination final. Yeah, season started poorly, had a little bit of a revival in that midway point, and then just started and just slowly petered out. We started the game okay. At quarter time. We were only 8 points down. It was 2 goals to 1. Do you want to guess who kicked the first goal for us on this day?
Round 17, 2014. Who kicked the first goal for us on this day? Was it round 17, 2014? Was he a big boy?
No. Nah.
Was he a midfielder?
He was
Push
midfield.
forward. Was it Brock McLean?
It was Brock McLean.
Was it really?
Fantastic stuff. Ding, ding, ding. Play the effect. Play the effect.
Was it really?
There we go. Lovely.
Wow.
Yeah, so we go into quarter time, 8 points down, away from home at the SCG. Not the worst kind of thing to not the worst. Not the worst start to the game, right? Especially against Sydney side, they were absolutely flying. I just want to quickly check, when was the last time we'd actually won at the SCG? Before that point, it was in 2011, so that kind of stat ruins that. But anyways,
that was the Judd game.
Yeah, it was. You're right. So anyways, first quarter comes and goes. Second quarter, Sydney starts to get a bit of an ascendancy. Sam Reid kicks back-to-back goals to give the Swans a 20-point lead. However, the Blues fight back through goals from Simon White and Tom Bell.
Wow.
As well as Lockie Henderson. So we kicked 3 of the last 4 goals of the quarter. We kicked. Hold on. No, I think my research is wrong there, because I'm going to play a game with you in a moment, which I think will be very funny considering what the game is. So it was, in fact, I'm not going to let that distract me. Sorry, Simon White kicked the first goal of that quarter for us. Then Sam Reid kicked back-to-back goals, and then it was a Tom Bell goal, followed by a Lockie Henderson goal, followed by a goal on the siren. And chat, don't spoil this, because I want to see how long it takes for Terry to get this. We kicked the goal on the siren to bring the margin back down to 7 points at halftime. Who kicked this goal? And I remember this vividly.
Andreas Everett?
No, but he did kick a goal in this game in the last quarter. Kicked the last goal.
Was this back when he was doing this celebration? That one?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. It might have been a little bit before that.
Who kicked a goal on the halftime siren to... Okay, it was... it would have to have been Bryce Gibbs.
No, it wasn't.
Was it Mark Murphy?
It wasn't Mark Murphy.
Was it a midfielder?
Got absolutely no idea.
Okay, was it David Allard?
No.
You don't know if this player was a midfielder or a forward? Or you do know and you don't want to tell me?
I have absolutely no idea. Genuinely.
As in you don't know who this player is?
As in, I know who this player is. I just cannot remember a thing about him apart from this goal.
Heath Scotland?
That's giving... No, come on, mate.
I'm trying to think of players like before your time. Like Jamison?
No. I'll give you one more guess because you're not going to get it.
Yeah, give me a clue.
This player played 5 games for Carlton.
5 games for Carlton?
Yeah.
In 2014?
14.
Oh. He played 5 games for Carlton and you don't know what he was.
No.
Was it Bootsma?
It was not Josh Bootsma. It was, in fact, Blaine Johnson.
Wow. Okay. I would never have guessed it.
Yeah. Do you have any recollections of him?
I do now that you've said it. Blaine, remind me of his number.
He wore number...
I feel like he had a shaved head with a little bit of like a tiny-ish beard.
He had
like
he wore number 45.
45. I do remember him. What do I remember about him? Not much. I remember photos of him in Carlton training tops.
That's very niche.
Hmm.
That's very niche. But that's what this show's about. There you go.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway,
Brenton, yes, confirmed. Jack Martin out with the motherfucking calf. Anyway.
Yeah. So yeah, we hit 4 goals in that quarter. Pretty good quarter. We actually won that quarter, 27-26. Only 1 point win, but you take it. So we cut the margin down to 7 points at halftime. Buddy Franklin has been kept goalless. We're doing all right at this stage against top of the table Sydney, game clear. One of the better Sydney teams, especially in recent memory. Yeah, things are going okay. Second half comes and starts. 3 minutes 45 into the second half. Buddy Franklin kicks a goal, and this is where the tide, as you could probably imagine, turns swiftly and with vigor. Just to remind you of the scores at halftime was 6-6-42 to 5-5-35. The scores at 3/4 time were 16-10 106 to 5 goals 6-35. Buddy Franklin, having gone from being goalless at halftime, kicked 5 goals in the third quarter. He would go on to end with 6 for the game. It was a 10-0 third quarter. Jared McVeigh.
We won this game. I thought I'm surprised.
Jared McVeigh kicks a goal. Adam Goods kicks a goal. Sam Reid kicks 2 in this quarter to bring it up for 4 for the game. Luke Parker gets on the scoreboard. Adam Goods gets on the scoreboard. Yeah, a real dire second quarter, a real dire third quarter, which kind of basically put the icing or put the nail in the coffin. The last quarter comes and goes without much fanfare. Sydney actually only won that quarter by a point. Buddy Franklin added his 6th and Adam Goods added his 2nd. The Brownlow votes for that game. Jared McVeigh with 1 vote, 29 and 1. Only despite kicking 6 goals, Buddy Franklin only polled the 2 with 6 goals and 18 touches. But unsurprisingly, Josh Kennedy with 41 disposals and 12 clearances racked up the major 3 Brownlow votes. Another instance of Carlton in that time kind of shitting the bed in a bit of a sense. A game that does stick out very poignantly for me because of the first interstate game and all the stuff that happened the day before. As well as another instance of Lance Buddy Franklin just doing what he absolutely pleases. Against most sides in the AFL, to be fair, I don't think we can give ourselves... I think we cut ourselves a little bit of slack, but he just always had a knack of kicking some bags against us unless a certain Alex Silvani was playing, which unfortunately this was a couple of years before his time. So yeah, that's basically it. Any kind of thoughts, or do you even remember this game happening?
No, I as you were recounting it, I still didn't know. I thought this was a win.
It was not. No, certainly was not.
Yeah.
This was in the real dark period of the Moldhouse era. That back in 2014 / start of 2015, I feel like a lot of people block out because that's when it was getting real grim.
It was grim. You know what I remember about that period of time? I remember like looking at the list and just, I mean, it was just like, where's the future?
Do you want me? Well, speaking of future, that leads that fantastic segue into this stat. There's only one player that played in this game that is still currently on the Carlton list.
Doherty?
Correct.
Wow.
So Seb Doherty did play this game didn't really do a whole. Yeah, there you go. Lovely stuff. Didn't really do a whole lot. What did he do in this game? Yeah, 13 touches, 4 tackles. So didn't really do a whole lot. But yeah, considering basically 10 years on, only one player that played in that game is still currently on the Carlton list.
Wow.
So considering where we were at the time, not necessarily a very good reflection. If you look at the years and like the ages of players who were playing in that team, Blaine Johnson played his 3rd game that day. Nick Graham was 20 years old. Doc was 20 years old. Yaron was only 23 at that time. So I think we forget just how like young and how much potential he had around about that stage. Tom Bell, 23, Zach Tui, 24, Henderson, 24, Ed Kerno, 24, Levi Casbolt, 24, and then Bryce Gibbs is 25, and then everyone is 25 up from there. So, 10 years on, only one player still on the list, none of them really experiencing a lot of glory at the club. Obviously, Tui's gone on to do good things at Geelong, etc. But, there's my game.
Wow.
Is
wow.
that,
Thank you. That was great.
Thank you. I'm proud of that. That's good. That's what research gets you.
You should be. Yeah. Very good. Very good. Was that it? Shall we move on?
The floor is yours, my friend.
I want to keep a little bit of time at the end so we can talk about things that are happening right now. Yes, people that are joining us right now, we know about Jack Martin. You got our live reaction at the start of the stream. Still bothers me. Supposed to play his 150th. Absolutely fucking shattered.
Oh, it was his 150th. Yeah, no.
150th. You know, just. But mate, that's footy, isn't it? That's footy.
Ryan Beveridge has just tweeted again. This now means that more than a third of our preliminary final team from last year is on the injury list,
and we're still 6-3.
And
you know that 2014 list that you were talking about? If that list had 5 to 6 of our best players on the injury list, it would be winless.
Rabble. Oh
yeah.
Oh God. Yeah. God, don't even. Not good.
Yeah.
Not good at all.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to talk about the 2010 elimination final.
Great. Now, before you start, we've spoken about the 2009 final, the 2011 semi-final will probably be spoken about when we versus West Coast to a little bit of an extent. And the 2013 finals have as well been kind of spoken to ad nauseum. I have absolutely zero recollection of watching this game. Don't really know a whole lot about it. So I'm very interested to learn it, especially from your perspective. So I'm ready for this.
There are 2 moments in this game which live rent-free in my head forever. One for the good and one for the bad.
Please, I'm all ears.
So, we'd obviously come off 2009. This was the most promising Carlton that I'd seen. We got the Murphy, Judd, Gibbs, Cruiser. The boys had started growing up. They started growing up and, playing finals footy. 2010 was a solid year. We played this elimination final at Accor Stadium in front of 41,596 people. Sydney were the betting favourite, $1.46. Carlton was $2.79 with a line of 15.5. I know you like those sort of obscure stats, Ari.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So, I was going to say who kicks the first goal, but you won't remember. Kieran Jack kicks the first goal. Do you remember Kieran Jack?
Yeah, good footballer.
Yeah, rugby background. So Kieran Jack kicks the first goal.
Hard nut.
Yes. Reshaw kicks the second goal. Jesse White marks on Jamison for a third. Who kicked our first?
2010, I'm going to go with Andrew Walker.
No.
On the right path or no?
No. No.
Not really. Eddie Betts.
Let's just say this was the I have arrived moment for this player.
Chris Judd.
No.
Oh, I don't know. I have
Think about
arrived. Murph.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it was along the right lines.
you were. So the way in which I'll never forget it, and this is when I was so proud of him. Crazy that I still remember this. It was 14 years ago, which is wild. So he shrugged a tackle. So Murph was never a massive player, big boy. But he started showing some strength through the hips, and he shrugged the tackle and kicked on his left and kicked the goal. And it was like, he's here. And he never looked back until he got injured and whatever. But that was the I'm here and I'm him moment.
Yeah.
Anyway, Swans kick their fourth. Henderson gets a free kick, kicks a goal. Now, Shane Mumford played in this game. He executed one of the best bumps you'll ever see, legal, on Richard Hadley. It's actually brilliant.
Richard
All
Hadley.
spills. Yeah, Hadley from Brisbane. Is that unlocking a memory?
No, that's adding a new chapter to my knowledge. I literally no idea.
Yeah. So Mumford bumps Hadley, ball spills, they kick it forward to Adam Goods. He kicks a goal. Then in a very interesting moment, 2:20 to go, and I still think this was wrong by the umpires. So Judd gives away a free kick to Kieran Jack. Kieran Jack picks up Judd and rugby slams him into the ground. It should have been reversed. It wasn't. Thought it was an interesting moment. Goods then goes forward, kicks another goal. 6 goals 6 to 4 goals 3 at quarter time. High scoring, very entertaining. We get to the second quarter. Trent Dennis-Lane kicks his first goal. Do you remember Trent Dennis-Lane, Ari?
Yes, I'm familiar.
You'll hear about him a little bit more. Bryce Gibbs with a nice long kick to Robbie Warnock. I actually don't remember this goal until I watched the highlights, but Robbie Warnock takes a nice strong mark in the forward line, kicks a goal. You know how we have this issue at Carlton with giving no-name players their greatest games?
Yeah, Jack Malcolm. Yeah,
those types. You know, those mid-size / smaller forwards. Do you? I found out about a player that kicked 3 goals in this game that I did not know existed. Paul Bevan.
Yeah, I like to consider myself a football nerd, but that's just we're out. Okay.
Kicks his 3rd in the first half. He had 7 possessions for the game. Sorry, 8 possessions for the game. Kicked 3.
That's disgusting.
Yep. Swans are just all over us at halftime. I remember thinking we just weren't good enough, and I think playing away as well. It's just we've got to start playing home finals. We lift in the 3rd. Chris Judd to Andrew Walker goal. Walker kicks 2 in a row. Another one from a great passage of play with some forward pressure. Simon on his right. Simo with the beautiful running kick on his right foot to Jeff Garlett. Now, Jeff Garlett ties the game and goes back for the set shot, kicks it from about 38, 40, 77 apiece. Jared Waite then kicks a goal for us to hit the lead. Absolute scenes. This was an 86-80 lead. So we kicked a lot of behinds in this game.
Yeah.
Trent Dennis-Lane kicks his 3rd at the start of the 4th. And he puts 3rd of the game and ties the game at 86. Then 5 minutes to go. Ryan O'Keefe, do you remember him?
Norse's medalist, of course.
Yeah. He puts them up by 6. And now the second moment that lives rent-free in my head. Dennis Armfield, running bounce in D50, tries to take on Trent Dennis-Lane. Trent Dennis-Lane tackles him, pins him, holding the ball, goes back, slots it from the pocket on the boundary line. It looked like it was game over. Henderson kicks a goal with a minute to go, 6-point game. We then end up kicking another behind. It was game over. Malcheski clearance, and then just a bunch of stoppages. Siren goes, and it was 14 goals, 15-99 to 13 goals, 16-94. We kick 1 goal 4 in the 4th quarter, and heartbreak. absolute heartbreak in Sydney. But what do you do?
It was and this is a question I want to ask because I don't think I've actually asked this specific question because obviously it's a bit weird saying that 2010 was before my time. Where would you liken that team in the based on feeling and vibe and the way that they played in a way? Where would you liken them to the current group in terms of the timeline? Like
Oh,
of the current group, where would they be in terms of time? Like the most accurate kind of.
you know what's really hard to about answering that question? That group did the natural progression. So they
They
naturally kind of
yeah,
got better. We did, so many years of no finals and then bang, you're in a prelim. So
yeah,
it was a slow burn for them. Whereas when we played finals, we made the prelim for the first
yeah.
time. So it's really hard to compare. Uh, I don't really know how to answer the question. I know exactly how you're asking it, but I don't really know how to answer it. It's tough
Yeah, it's different.
because
Yeah,
naturally they just scraped in 2009, a little bit better in 2010, but still not good enough. And then 2011 learned the lessons of the previous two finals losses and smashed the Bombers and so it was a nice
yeah.
build up. So it's hard.
No, fair enough. No, I feel like there was a lot of talk around that because like this group is very. I feel like it's the natural comparison because it's
Mm,
the most recent group that's been good. I mean, I
mm,
think it's very unfair to compare the current team we've got to the team of like '99 and 2000 and when we were in like semis in 2000 and the grand final. No, prelim in 2000, I think. Anyways, whatever.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's hard to compare that group because of just how long ago it has been. Whereas this is these two groups probably do get compared a lot. So it's interesting to see how both had similar kind of vibes and like energies like around them. Like a lot of people very optimistic about like this young group, good midfield, etc., etc. But how differently they've gone about their jump. Like success is not really linear. And I think comparing these two groups and the way that they were able to like obviously 2011 or that group that we're speaking about now, just
Yeah.
that slow burn going up the ladder, eventually finishing fifth, reaching a semi, kick away from a prelim, whatever, to this group finishing out of finals and then bang fifth, bang top, bang prelim, and
Yeah.
hopefully it's one actually. Hopefully this year it's two steps beyond that,
Hopefully.
which is very fascinating. I think.
Now we played two rucks in this game. You heard about one of them. His name was Robbie Warnock.
That'd be one.
He actually
Yeah.
kicked 2 goals in that game, by the way.
Wow.
Who was the other ruckman?
Sean Amson. What other tall blokes do we have at this
Now,
stage?
keep in mind, Cruiser had done his ACL
Yeah, I
at
wasn't going to
Marvel
go
that
Cruiser.
year. I
I
was
wasn't
there
going to
that day. It broke my
Yeah.
heart. It's Freo.
No, we know. You said it. Yeah, I wasn't gonna guess. Cruz. What tall people have we got that we had over recent years?
And this ruckman had 44 hitouts in this game.
Wow, so number one ruck.
Well, I guess.
Well, I don't think Warnock would have had more than 44, and considering Warnock kicked 2 goals, you'd assume he would have played more forward. Yeah, it's probably a little bit later for Cloak. Probably not. It's too early for Cameron Wood.
You're not allowed to look in the live chat, so keep looking where you're looking because
Okay,
they've
I'll
said
look at
the answer. You're not allowed to look.
Okay, I'll look at my wall. Ruckman. Can I have a hint? Like not an obvious hint, but like a hint.
Yeah, you could have a hint. He didn't stay at Carlton. He played for another club.
Yeah, well, I think that's. Sam Jacobs. Yes, there we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Who
Yeah,
led
nice.
Carlton in tackles on this day with 7?
Was this game played in the wet?
No.
Oh no, I'm
It
thinking
was
of a different.
during the day. Yeah, during the day.
Okay, right. Led this tackle with 7. Right. Is it a? Would it be Judd? Would it be the big boy? No. Okay. Surely got to be midfielder. I feel like. Yeah. Thanks. Murph. Yes. Nice. There we go.
Yeah.
Of course, it's Murph.
Some other interesting observations. Jordan Russell played in this game. He had 23 touches,
Interesting.
7 marks. Played well. Judd had 29 with 2 behinds, 4 tackles, 10 inside 50s, 8 clearances. That type of game.
Superstar.
What else? Yeah, goal kickers. Murphy with 1, Jeff Garlett with 2, Jared Waite kicked 3, Robbie Warnock kicked 2, and Lockie Henderson kicked 3.
Nice, good spread there.
Yeah, nice, good spread. The usual suspects. Yeah, Paul Bauer played in this game. Yeah.
It's niche. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, very niche. Marcus Davies played in this game. Aaron Joseph played in this game.
Marcus Davies, goodness. He's been brought up twice on this. And he also played the 2011 elimination final as well.
Yep.
Would he have like some of the? Because he wouldn't have played many more games. His ratio for total games played to games played in finals would be very interesting to see. Because I don't think he would have played much more than only a handful of games, and he's played in 2 finals. So it's quite interesting. I feel. Oh, he might have played in 3 finals actually, because he might have played the week after against West Coast. I want to fact check that after we're done.
True. So I want to go and turn the attention to. By the way, I put this question up every week on Twitter now, and it gets some really cool replies the last couple of weeks. So thank you to everyone who posts your reply. There are some crazy random ass memories about Sydney. Those of you in the chat, now is the time. What is your most obscure random memory against the Sydney Swans? Ari, I'm still not over Jack Martin doing his calf.
It has really.
Again. Remind me.
What?
Remind me again how I need to get over Jack Martin doing his calf. No, man, come on, man.
By adapting. Have to adapt, mate. Come on.
Don't panic. Panic's the last thing we need to do. It really is not going to help.
Got to remain calm. Next man up.
Fuck, man.
Positive mentalities.
Like, how many fucking times does it have to happen before some bullshit? Hey, Jai. Round 8, 1995. Sydney belted us at the SCG. One of our 2 losses for the season. Milhana roosted a 65, 70-meter barrel, and it bounced off the very tip of the goalpost. I haven't read any other memories, but this will win for sure. That's a great one. I'm very aware of this game. I am. It's been in very much a research stat for sure. I feel like I know the entire fixture of that year at this stage. Can you believe that we won the flag that year and lost to the 2 bottom teams? Like, I think it was consecutively from what people have said. Yeah, it was 2 rounds in a row. Sydney weren't as bad. St Kilda were really bad. Sydney were average, middling. They weren't like horrendous. St Kilda was the one. St Kilda finished like second last, I think, that year. So yeah. Foxwood, this was a great night. We beat the Swans by 16, April 29th, 2011. Judd Masterclass, 15 clearances, 25 contested possessions, down at halftime. It was the night of the royal wedding. I remember it was in the wet. The night of the royal wedding. That's good. I like that. That's what I want. Round 9, 1982. We kicked 12 goals, 5 in the first quarter. Jesus Christ. Imagine if we did that now. Oh my God. Oh, mate, we do that now. Word. What did we kick in the second quarter against the Swans in 2022? Was it 8 or 9? 9. I think it was 9. And we copped 3 as well. We copped 3 or 4 in that quarter as well. Yeah. John Holden was there that day. 102-point win. 6 goals to the buzz. Jack Dyer got a great call. When's the last time we won by 100 points or more? Last year. West Coast. Before that? Oh, yeah, the West Coast games. Yeah, they don't really count, though. Yeah, I guess they don't. I guess no 100-point games count, but... Yeah, I guess before West Coast would have been like the Suns or the Gold Coast, or the Suns or the Giants back in early 10s, right? 1995 losses were both fixed. Love to be honest, probably would have. Probably. I mean, probably some truth behind it, if we're honest. Yeah. Like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I guess people who are there can like hold more kind of weight to this. But how can a team that good? Right, and win like the grand final, especially that comfortably. Sure. Like, come on, True. Those of you who remember 95, what
What happened?
did they just not show up? Were they arrogant? What happened to the premiership court? Like, what happened on that day?
Because it wasn't like that team was like lucky to win the flag, right? That team like dominated for the rest of the year. Won it comfortably. Like it's something that's always fascinated me.
Interesting. Peter V. First memory 1986 qualifying final at the G. Swans started off with a bang, but eventually we prevailed by 16 points. Diesel played for the Swans at the time. I got a tweet. I got a reply from Paul Barbaza. He said Diesel playing for the Swans against David Rees-Jones playing for the Blues in Sydney. The latter wore one from Diesel, broke his jaw, I think. The aftermath was interesting from Rees. Does anyone remember that? Or Peter, was this the same game that you're talking about? Although you did say this was at the G, so that's in Melbourne. But Paul Barbaza is saying that Diesel played for the Swans at the time and David Rees-Jones played for the Blues and they got into it. Would love to know what happened.
Who else would have? Warwick Kappa probably.
Wow. Johnny Holden with the scope.
Let's not publicize this.
No one's going to watch it.
Oh, come on. People watch this.
I do watch this.
People watch
wow.
this.
So wow. Dirty dogs. Match fixing. Okay.
Wow. Didn't want to go undefeated. Warwick Kappa would have played that game, that game in 86 as well, just quietly.
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
Yeah. Michael C. Madden watching the final last year. My whole ceiling collapsed in my lounge. Wow.
Yeah, what a time.
Tim, you remember that? David Rees-Jones with a broken jaw, a Friday night game in the 80s. Wow.
Broken jaw. That's
broken jaw.
There you go.
Yeah. Vic Wide Renovations, thank you very much for the $2.99. Ari, got a few more good ones here. Ross Simons, driving to Sydney in 1995 to watch us get slammed by bottom place Sydney, making a pact that we will drive to Sydney following the same exact path until we beat them. Every time we drove up there and lost, I couldn't help but think I was somehow responsible.
There you go. Wow. Very interesting. That was also just circling back to that game in 86. That was also the year Diesel won his first Brownlow, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's right as well. So it's funny how it all kind of goes back full circle in a way. Won his second one at us not too long after. So there you
go. Kobe, round 10, 2022. My wife broke her arm on the way to the G in round 1, and this was her first game back. Charlie kicked a bag. We got a massive win, and we also got to see Buddy kick a couple, which was nice. The wife grew up in a Hawthorn household. Special memory for us. Well, there you go. That was a very, very good night at Marvel, round 10, 2022.
Was very wholesome, very memorable for me.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason that I don't know if you remember Buddy's goal that he kicked in the third wee, like from 50 on the run. That moments like that from like opposition players in games that we've won kind of stick out because it's like it makes me kind of the way I justify it is like, oh, if Buddy was still doing that, like that were really good, and what we were able to do against them kind of means more, if that makes sense. So yeah, that was kind of a cool moment from that game.
Now I still remember the fan cams that night. That was one of the more fun fan cams we had. We were just riding the high of just, you know,
8 and 2.
That was so good, man. Fuck.
What was it? 8 and 2. 8 and 2. What a time. What other?
Oh, this is a good one. Satanta O'Halpin getting a goal for an interchange infringement by the Swans at the SCG.
Don't remember that.
Don't remember that. Jeff Garlett hitting the post in the elimination final at the crucial time. Oh, I'm gonna play I'm gonna share my screen. I'm gonna play the Dennis Armfield moment. Do you remember this?
No.
Takes a chance.
Oh no, Dennis.
Do you know what my first game of footy I played? I did the exact same thing. I didn't realize, I had a basketball background, but I didn't realize that if you get tackled while
Why are you
bouncing,
bouncing it?
it's automatically holding the ball. So there's a lesson I learned down at Eltham.
Why are you bouncing? You're way too tall to bounce the ball, mate.
Well, I don't even know why I was in the back line, to be honest. I don't know how I got there.
Yeah, I was gonna say that you don't have your bouncing license, mate.
Wait, was I in the back line? No, I was in the forward line. Sorry. Wait, no. Where
Moral of the
was I?
story. The
I
moral of the
must have been in the
story.
back line. I must have
Moral
been in
of
the
the
back line because the guy ran on. So yeah, moral of the story: don't bounce.
Yes, especially if you're as tall as you. Come
Yeah.
on. Yeah, keep like no limitations, mate. Come on,
Yeah.
no limitations. What are the
Uh,
niche memories against Sydney?
Big Wide Renovations with the $8 donation says Favola 2009 knocking out Bolton and sending Ted Richards to the hospital. I think Fev kicked 3 in the third quarter. Legend. I don't remember that.
Is that Jude Bolton? Would have to be.
Yeah, I think that would have been Jude Bolton.
Yeah. 09. I don't remember that either. What are the niche games against Sydney we played? I remember that game in 2013. Yes. Oh no. Yeah. Obviously. Have this? I thought this was well publicized. Of course. We played that game in 2013 in the wet, like in the
Mhm.
pouring rain. At the SCG, and Josh Boozma kicked the goal from the goal square for it because of a deliberate rush behind. That's a niche Carlton Sydney memory I have.
This is the same Kobe that tuned in for the first time. There you go.
Yeah.
Kobe, we love having you here. I feel like to be part of this channel, you got to have a little bit of heartbreak, because the story of the channel is heartbreak first, and then we sort of bond over the trauma. So
Yes,
you're officially a part of the community.
yeah, no, of course.
Yeah.
Bond over the trauma, in hopes that we can all celebrate the success.
It is trauma bonding.
Yes.
2019, round 10 at a friend's birthday party, and one Swan supporter there was fuming because we won by 5 points. Safe to say we let him know all about it, singing the song, rubbing it in his face on your Luca. Were you a bit of one of those supporters, Ari? Did you get into people's faces?
Well, actually, funnily enough, there was these Melbourne supporters behind me on the game on Thursday, and so like there was like a group of 6 of them. I think 3 of them, unreal class, so funny.
Mm.
The other 3, they were just really testing it, and I was praying to God that we held on, and we did. And I didn't really give it to them. I really wanted to, but they were giving it to Cripps all game, and I thought it was very poetic that he was the one that got the tackle in the end. So I think I'll let the football do like the natural justice of that. So,
yeah.
But yeah, apart from that, no. Speaking of that 2019 game, I want to that game in 2020 up in Carrara, Matt Cottrell. Yes, there we go. What a weird. That was on. Do you remember what day that was on? And if I'm not mistaken, that was on a Tuesday night at like 8:00. If I'm not mistaken, because that was when the footy was just like played every day. It was one of the more bizarre games. Yep, Tuesday, the 8th of September at 8:10 p.m.
Wow, is that when? Oh yeah. Is that when they were cramming games, like
Yeah,
4
doing
games in 13 days? And
no, they're doing games every day. Yeah, it was one of the more like bizarre things ever.
True.
We're like 47-0 down, and then I remember Walsh kicking a pretty good goal, and then that Cottrell goal at the end, and then Louis Taylor missing from like 25 outside angle. What a time!
Wow. 1987, Peter Motley's last game ever before the accident was against Sydney. Wow. Apparently, can someone confirm? Someone wrote on Twitter that Stephen Silvani debuted against the Swans.
When did Jack debut? Wasn't against the Swans, was it?
Lucky Jack, 8 p.m. Tuesday night. Insane.
It's actually like imagine how did you do all this? Imagine if we you had the current structure in place with all the shows and everything.
Yeah,
they just
we definitely would have done fan cams that night, no doubt. Yeah, for sure we did fan cams that night. Cottrell kicked the win. I think Rocco came on and said, "Take your moment."
What a bizarre time to be alive, just generally.
Well, that is really how the fan cams came to be.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the blessing of it. I think the magic of the fan cams is because it was where we're in lockdown. We're all fucking depressed. Our lives had been completely wrangled, and we all of a sudden had an hour and a half or 2 hours a week where it was just forget about lockdown and just complain, cry or laugh about Carlton.
Chaos. Yes, ultimate chaos.
Yuval, my last game at Princess Park was Carlton versus the Swans in 2003. We had a 3-goal lead and lost by 3 goals in the last with their negative chip footy, and I've hated that endangered species club ever since. Let them know, Yuval.
Yeah, love that. Love that.
What else? Any other random ones?
That game in 2021 was pretty grim.
That game in 2021. Yeah.
Yeah, well, one of the more. Because I swear we kicked like the first 4 goals of that game as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
2021. Wait, remind me of that. Was that
At the SCG before West Coast?
we got mad about them losing that game?
Yeah,
Why?
because if I'm not mistaken, we like dominated like the first portion of that game.
We did, yeah. I mean, I remember the West Coast lost because we lost to the Waffle side, whatever.
Yeah, we were 4 goals to 1 in the first quarter, and then we were 3 points down to 3/4 time, and they kicked 3 goals to 1. No, 4 goals to 1 in the last. This was a game where Betts kicked that goal like one-handed, like he held the ball like out in one hand and like dropped it on his boot from the pocket, and it kind of went in. Not good times. 2021 should probably stop bringing it up. In fairness. Remember that game Buddy kicked 10 against us?
Yep, I do actually.
Last round of the year.
I do remember that.
That was grim.
Well, do you remember getting to round 20 and then like starting to put players in cotton wool and then just playing in dead rubbers, like losing by 100 points?
Yeah, God. Hopefully we can start putting players in cotton wool, but for a good reason this time. Towards back into the year. I'm glad
Surprised this hasn't been brought up. This was a good one. This
Very
was great.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alex Silvani. What a time. From Freo. Unassuming. No one really knew a whole lot.
Sigma Potato. Yep, we know Martin's out. We know, we've covered it. We've touched on it. It's annoying. It's frustrating. Just want to get our boys on the park. But got to move on with it. Who comes in this week? Do you think Binns will play? Binns for Cottrell?
Yeah, for sure. Well, who's out? Cottrell,
Chera, and Martin will come out.
Yeah.
Hewitt will come in, I would guess. Williams will come in, I would guess. And maybe Binns.
I'd have to do some reshuffling.
Yeah. I mean, look, I don't see how Binns was playing without an injury, and so here it is. It's the opportunity sort of come. Cunners is injured. Jimmy did a calf. Yeah, man, it's crazy. It's crazy. Like we just got to get it. We got
Fantasia back, maybe. I don't know if that's.
He could.
Maybe
he got coaches' votes in the VFL.
Yeah, Binns had fucking 150 touches in the twos.
Is the argument that you need to play Orazio for experience because we lose so much experience with Martin, Cottrell, and Chera, as opposed to debuting Binns?
Well, not his debut technically.
Pito's a test. Yeah, Pito's a test. We don't know yet.
Oh, what happens if he comes out? I was thinking about this actually. Do we bring? Is it a simple equation of just like Harry Rux, or if we want to be more different, we could bring Lewis Young in and then have him follow Hayden McLean.
Yeah, interesting. Anthony Orazio didn't play in the forward line in the VFL last week. He played the Chera role in the midfield, so that would explain why. Pardon?
So you got a couple coaches' votes.
He did. He got coaches' votes, but yeah, he didn't play in the forward line. That's why he didn't kick a goal.
Yeah.
Cottrell had a stress fracture, Lockie.
In his foot, and I saw a TikTok today. Apparently, it's like one of the worst stress fractures in your foot you can get.
Yeah, the navicular bone. Oh, also, this is an exclusive. Ari saw exactly how Hudson O'Keefe did his high-grade hamstring. Do you want to explain, Ari?
Yeah, so at open training on Sunday, they were before like the proper training was kicking off. They were backing around, kicking a few goals.
Was it towards the end?
No, it was at Okay, it would have been at the end for sure. No, You're so right. You're so right. Regardless, and like they were mucking around, having a few shots, doing kick to kick, whatever. They were doing specky practice, which I question generally. Don't know why you like unless there's a whip around for whoever wins mark of the year first. Like I don't really know. Anyway, Brody Kemp goes up, takes his specky, marks it, goes down, gives the hands. Hudson O'Keefe goes up, takes the mark, comes down, grabs at his hamstring immediately. And I go, that's not anything other than like that can't be cramp. That can't be cramp. And then he starts to walk and then can't really walk. And then I think a couple of boys start getting around him and start doing the pats on the bum, pats on the back. And it looked optically very much like something's not good has happened here.
I remember Brody going up for his. I remember Hudson going up for his, but I had started looking away, but I realized what he was doing. And then all I remember is you were sitting 2 seats to my left saying, I think Hudson O'Keefe just did a hamstring. And the way that we just looked over. So you know how you've got like the big guys in the chat, guys and girls in the chat, you know how you've got like that big specky bag they put on their back? Like they were just...
They weren't doing it on players. They were doing it on like a big bag still, but like...
Yeah, on a coach. And so I guess it begs the question, like, firstly, is that like, I mean, should we be banning specky practice? Probably.
I just don't see why it's necessary. Like,
well, I think the art of it is to practice contested marks. No?
Yes, I do agree. No, I definitely do agree. I think there's... But I also don't. I also think it's one of those things where it's like you don't do that at the end. Like if you practice contested marks, it's a very crucial part of the game, especially for tall people, right? So you would focus on doing that as an actual drill with like semi-match simulation rather than just kicking the ball straight and having a free run and jump at it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, but look, I'm not a football coach. The club obviously knows more than me, but very unfortunate way to do a hamstring, especially for a bloke who, while he doesn't play, needs continuity if he ever is going to get an AFL gig.
I say this respectfully, you know, Hudson doesn't play regularly.
Yes, no, of course.
You know, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I think the conversation around strength and conditioning, it's going to come up. Russell's going to get the blame. I've almost found myself default defending him, not because I actually defend him per se, but because the time to move him on is not now. It was after the prelim, and it's after the season ends. That's practically when you bring someone in who can build a program in the preseason, because the reality is the work to prevent injury in a season gets done in the preseason. So a new person that comes in now, it's not going to change much, if anything at all.
Yeah, no, you can't. I don't know anything in, like, I know my knowledge of the space is horrendously basic, but I don't think you can change a strength and conditioning program in the middle of the season. That just logistically just doesn't work, because players would be on, what I think is probably the case, is players would be on programs that are like weeks and weeks in advance of, like, so you're going to do this, you're going to play, or you're going to play VFL or play ones or whatever, and then you're going to do this throughout the week to make sure that you're not dead by the time the game comes. Play the game, and then you do your recovery, blah, 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 blah. I don't think just ripping it up and starting again from scratch in the middle of the season.
Yeah. And also, let me tell you now, that training session on Sunday was not an intense training session.
No, it wasn't.
Like, we were there. It was not... They were not getting out of first gear, second gear. Like, it was not intense.
Unless they did another one after the the Open trying to get ended, which once again I doubt, but
Yeah,
could be true. I don't know. It was very much a tick the legs over, get a few Ks in,
yeah,
get some boot on leather, and go back in
yeah.
type thing.
Yeah, I had someone message me today saying, "Why don't we review the program?" It's like, well, they did. It went through
Yeah,
the extensive review. It went through a review at the end of 2022. Uh, it did. It did. It does. It continues to. I think there's a
yeah,
misconception that they're not even looking at it. There's no doubt the people on the inside are looking at that and they're pissed off about it as well. And
yeah.
yeah,
And what you can't say about the review that we did do, you can't sit here and say that that had no effect. You can't sit here and say that that review didn't. I don't really know how to say this. Like, wasn't a full review because it led to the changes of bringing in new players, new CEO, a new coach within the space of 3 weeks. And our
Mm,
club's fortunes have turned around in an off season. So that review has obviously done a lot of good for the club. And I don't think the club neglected that aspect of the review. I feel like from what we know, it feels like it was a very, very thorough, in-depth review. So yeah, I don't know. There are some injuries which are form, which are unfortunate, like Martin, and then you have some people like Cottrell who like I don't like the stress factor is frustrating, but he's a player who's been kind of pretty fit over the last couple of years. You'd say, right? He hasn't been like in and out of the team with 1 week carbs and 2 week hammies and whatever. And then you have like, yeah, just unfortunate.
yeah. Well, anyway, Rambo, mate, play this out. What do you mean sack him now? How does that work?
He's also
What,
not on 800k. He's probably close
yeah,
to something like
he's not.
400.
What I don't understand. How does that work? It's round 10. What do you mean sack him now? And then just say don't come Monday? Like, don't worry about it. I don't understand. Like, you don't really think that's the way to do it, right? Like today, like just say, hey mate, you've just got an injury. Here's your bags. Thanks for your service. Like, really? Is that like, you don't practically think that's what we do, right? Like, you're just a little angry.
Handed your pink slip.
Like,
I say yeah, some players are just more injury prone. Maybe probably is I'm not going to say like there are some players who are definitely probably more injury prone than others, but also
Martin Marchbank, Cunners have been injured every year,
yeah,
like literally every single year.
yeah, but like there's injury prone and then there's constantly injured. Like
Yeah,
injury prone does not mean injured all the time.
yeah,
It feels like
agreed.
these players are injured all the time.
Yeah, I
So
mean, 100%. I mean, availability is your greatest asset, and we've got a lot of players who, they're unavailable, and I think that's probably why we're seeing reports about Will Haywood and you know
durable
these other
footballers.
guys as well. Yeah. So,
Like,
but
yeah.
I mean, the reality is, when you start a season, this is your list, these are your people, and then at the end of the season is when you assess it. So, what I don't understand is, why didn't this conversation about strength and conditioning happen after the prelim when you could actually do something about it? You
Yeah.
don't wait till round 9, round 10 to have the conversation. You do it at the end of the season where you can action it, bring in a new guy who can put together the program in the preseason, because apparently there's someone better than what we've got right now, and there might be. I want to know who that is. I feel like we find ourselves in this bubble of just noise, sack, 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 sack. But now is not the time. We're in the middle of a year, you know?
Yeah. I think we saw last year in the back end of the year the discourse around the fans, and I'm not like going to sit here and point fingers and blame anyone, but like the positive momentum that we saw on field was really helped and dragged along by the positive nature off field, right? And just by the vibe around the club was just really positive. This for all the good that we've had so far this season over the last kind of 24 months, this has always been the one thorn in the side of the club that no matter how well things are going, this is always the one thing, which is really frustrating. And I also like once again, I don't know a lot of in the space. Is it Andrew Russell's not the only person there that focus on strength and conditioning, right? He
No,
can't
he's just
be.
the one. He's just the accountable. He's like the
Yes.
department leader.
Yeah,
So
he's
ultimately,
he's the head coach.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not we can't just pick him up and throw him out the door. It is a revamp of the program, of everyone involved in the program.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe I'm soft, but I don't like he's a person, right? Like just he would like sack him. He's probably doing the best he can do, right? And maybe he's not up to it, and that's fine, right?
How much is the balance of the strength and conditioning and the players
Well, this is what
taking
I'm saying.
ownership of their body?
Andrew Russell doesn't hold Jack Martin's hand every time he's doing rehab.
Mm.
He's not there guiding him through every squat, every lunge. Like, yeah, it's a double edged sword because he obviously is at fault for certain things in the same way that head coaches are at fault for certain things when their team isn't playing well, when the program that you are running is not adequate or is underperforming. You obviously have to hold accountability, but also it's like I can almost guarantee that there's a lot of factors that are out of his control or that aren't necessarily fully in his control 100%, which are affecting this as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I also think his reputation is kind of it's a gift and a curse. Probably acting more of a curse right now.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's 14 players on the injury list. It doesn't help when you start the season with Sauce out for the year, and then after the first half, Doherty's out for the season. So,
yeah, and then there's obviously some injuries which are unavoidable, like Pito.
Also, does anyone out there truly think that the department is not being looked at? Like, does anyone out there really, truly, in their depths of their soul, sit there right now while watching this, say to themselves, Brian Cook and co have not reviewed the S&C department? I'd love to know that.
It's probably the most.
It would be the most reviewed department.
Not only most reviewed, but in an era where teams are drafting athletes, like you're hearing a lot more now. Teams are drafting athletes and teaching them how to play football.
Yeah.
Your strength and conditioning is arguably one of, if not the most important department.
Yeah.
In the club.
Yeah. Rambo, you could be right. It could be the play. It could be the guys that it could be. Could be.
Yeah.
How many on the injury list are new, and how many are repeat guys that have history of injury? Which one of them are like a shock, like a new? I don't think you can say Chera because he's always been a burstish player. He's always had little niggles. Sard's the same.
Yeah, so our current injury list will got it up. So Matt Carroll, we don't really know.
Don't really know. He got injured in his draft year though. That's why he slid so much. But yeah.
Okay, so Chera.
Yeah, we've had hammies with him. He had little footage. Yeah.
Yeah. Cottrell.
Nothing really until he did his first. Remember when he put on 5-6 kilos in the preseason?
Was that last year or the year before?
Last year, yeah.
Yeah. So, he missed portions of that year of last year, didn't he?
Yep.
Yeah. Cunningham, well documented.
Cunningham.
Doc,
Doc.
But not an S&C problem.
No. I mean, the ACL is the ACL.
Just the worst luck of a bloke in football. Yep. Sam Durden concussion. Well, that's by the by. Fogarty wrist once again. That's an anomaly.
That's the way he plays. But like, you're not blaming S&C for how he did his wrist. That's
in the same way that you're not blaming S&C for the way Pito might miss this week.
Yeah,
can't. Jack Martin, well documented.
Yep.
Jesse Motlop starting to become a little bit of a theme, especially at such a young age as well.
Yep.
He's in his third year. Is he still 19 or is he 20?
19 or 20.
Regardless, right? Hudson O'Kay hamstring, which covered. Pito, finger unlucky. Sard.
Yeah. I've got to go.
Okay, sorry.
Wow.
And then Jack Silvani and Zach Williams as well, the other two, which have well documented for both of those.
Yeah. Anyway, Ari, thank you very much for tonight. That was a good show. Bit frustrating, but we'll just move on. We can still win the game. I still think we can win the game on Friday night.
We're talented enough.
And yeah, ladies and gents, thanks for being here, and See you Friday. Go Blues. No, see you tomorrow. Teams.
Yes. Quick
Go
prediction. Okay.
Blues by 2.
Blues by 15.
Yeah. All right. Bye.
Bye bye.